time. I'm just adjusting. Ah. Ew. Hi, Glenn. How are you? Just checking this here angle. Yeah, I know I'm live on my own channel. Thank you, email. How is this? Why does this feel weird? Hello. I'll wait just a second and get started. Just adjusting. Okay, I think that looks great. Okay, thank you. I'll get started in just a second. I'll see if anyone else pops in. Because everyone's always like, what were you talking about? Can you catch me up? No. There is lots to talk about. Okay, I'll go ahead and get started. Thank you everyone for, okay. Hi Lance, how are you? Wait, Lance, are you the one that lives in Loudoun County? I forgot who it was that lives in Loudoun County. I'm actually not. Hello from San Francisco. Ooh, this will be fun. You can tell us your thoughts on everything while we're talking. Yes, Purcellville. Oh, there was some updates about Loudoun County that we'll get into. And I actually didn't even read this, so we'll read it together. But I just saw this story right before we got on. Hi, Richard. How are you? Okay, let's go, Brandon. Hi, Daybreak. Okay, we can get started. All right, and we have someone from San Francisco here, so you can give your thoughts. I don't know if you remember, but I think I did a video on this, but I think it was earlier. We are living in the golden age of Brandons. Every Brandon right now must feel very, very special because everyone is chanting their name. The golden age. Who knew that a name like Brandon would come back? Brandon was sort of, I called some officials in Loudoun County, told them people who prey on the mind of a child. Ooh, awesome, good work. That's good to hear. Our DA is worse than LA's. Okay, so prior there were 15. So, well, first let's get into. I'll read you a little bit of this story. So, Walgreens is to close 5 more San Francisco stores, citing rising costs of retail crime. So, I can't remember if it was earlier this year or in 2020 that San Francisco closed 15 Walgreens due to rising crime. That's what they were saying. And they also, Target in certain areas started closing at 6 p.m. because it was getting dangerous for employees and because of this continued crime. And you know what's interesting? Here in Virginia, this was actually surprising to me. I want to research this a little bit more. All of the Soros-backed DAs suck. Yeah, we have one in Los Angeles, George Gascon, who I haven't checked on this for a while, but Gascon has a recall effort against him. I'm actually surprised that, am I saying the name correctly? Chesa Boudin, that's the San Francisco DA, who is very similar in style to George Gascon, and it really blows my mind how these people keep getting elected because they had Gascon and things got worse after Gascon, and then Chesa was elected. I mean, it's just, whatever. But I think in California, our San Francisco person, let me know if you have the same observation. But what I observe in California is people recognize the problems, like they understand, and we'll get more into this in just a second. They see what's happening around them, and they understand that things are getting worse, but they don't connect it to the people that they're electing. They don't connect it to the fact that it's these are a direct result of policies, and the crime, I believe, is Proposition 47, which that was passed in 2014 or 2015 in California. And Prop 47, basically any retail theft under $950 is now considered a misdemeanor. Okay, so let's look at what's happening right now in San Francisco. Oh, this is the story I was going to tell you. So it's amazing the power of the DA office has. Absolutely. And that's what I learned like the past 2 years making these videos. I used to never think about local politics ever. And you realize how important local politics are, almost more important than politics on a federal level, because they affect you so directly. But it's just not something I ever thought about. I would never pay attention to who was running locally. And that's probably what now I'm answering my own question. That's probably how a lot of people are. If you think about it, they don't make that connection. It's wild. It's hard. Thank you, Sarah. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Morris. Okay. Greetings, Stephen. Oh, so do you think someone is arrested for breaking the law, then the DA doesn't press charges? Let's not. Yeah, so that's another thing. One, people stop reporting the crime because what's the point? And then two, when they do get arrested, they're just let right back out. So, I mean, what somebody was saying, as soon as the paperwork dries on the arrest, or as soon as you finish booking someone, they're already out. It takes longer to book someone than it actually does to hold them accountable for their crimes. The radicals think global. Oh, so I'm here in Virginia, and I went to my old laptop, basically crashed, so I needed a new MacBook. And because I do this, I obviously can't hold off on getting one. So I found a good deal at Best Buy in Glen Allen, and I go to Best Buy, and I'm looking around, and I don't see. Oh, thank you. It's my Iron Maiden shirt. It's getting old. I need to take it to the seamstress. This is one of my favorite. It's probably my favorite t-shirt. And this is embarrassing, but it's getting holes in the armpits because I wear it so much. But I have to take it to get it. What do you call it? How do you say it? I've been in the South too long. I have to get it sewn. Yes, I have to get it sewn. I'm starting to, you can hear my Southern accent come out sometimes, not always. I've been in the South for way too long. I've been here for, like 6 months. So I go to Best Buy. Thank you, Stephen. I go to just buy a new one. But it's not the same. It's never the same. And you know where I got this? Speaking of crime, I got this on Melrose Avenue, which is really sad. So this is from one of my favorite stores on Melrose Avenue. And the last few months I lived in LA, I did not go to Melrose anymore because Melrose is just so much crime happens there. There was someone fatally shot not that long ago, and a lot of the stores, armpit holes are classy. Many of my favorite old shirts have custom feature. Yeah. It lets you breathe, man. It's all about breathing raw air, right? And okay, that's enough. But I don't go to Melrose anymore. It's really sad, or I didn't right before I left Los Angeles, because a lot of the stores get robbed. People come in from like South Central LA and they hit up Melrose Avenue and they like steal things. They rob people. Remember the Lady Gaga story where her dog walker got robbed? That happened all over Melrose too. People just come into that neighborhood from outside of the neighborhood. They'll steal cell phones, like watches, jewelry, bags, anything you have. They'll just like jump out of their car, take it, and then leave. So that's another area that's definitely, since we're talking about crime, so where I got this shirt is now a crime-ridden area, and it's so sad because I used to just spend an entire afternoon on Melrose. One of my favorite ramen places was there. I would just spend all afternoon. That was like one of the things that I did to have fun when I just wanted to get away from everyone. I would go shopping. Some of my favorite boutiques are there, but I don't go there anymore. And I bought that there. So I go into Best Buy in Glen Allen. I find a good deal on a MacBook, and I'm looking around in their electronics section where all the laptops are, and there's no Apple products. And I was like, so finally, somebody that works there came up to me. He was like, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Yes. Do you all sell MacBooks here? I thought you did." And he said, "Oh yes, we do, but actually we keep those in the back now, like in the storage area. We don't display them anymore because we've had so much theft." and that was happening in Glen Allen. So I don't know why, but he was like, yeah, we just a few weeks ago we stopped having our Apple products out because they kept getting stolen, which is pretty interesting. I didn't know that this was happening, but it's really happening in San Francisco and a lot of super blue cities. So Walgreens to close 5 more San Francisco stores, citing rising costs of retail crime. Walgreens said Tuesday that it will close 5 stores in San Francisco in November. So I believe they'll be closed in November 11th. And a Walgreens spokesperson said organized retail crime continues to be a challenge facing retailers across San Francisco, and we are not immune to that. Law enforcement officials have attributed much of the city's retail crime to organized theft rings, but public defenders and social justice advocates have argued that many people charged with retail theft act alone, many of them suffering from poverty, homelessness, and substance abuse, and needing rehabilitation and other services. So that's always their fix. It's never law enforcement. Law enforcement is never the answer. It's let's just throw more money and more services that in many of the cases people deny. I am not against services, but law enforcement is a piece of that. And when people know that they can get away with things, they will take advantage of that. Like use Melrose, for example. The people committing that crime are not from the Melrose area. They come into that area because they know they're not going to have consequences for their actions. Okay, the closures will bring to 22 the number of Walgreens stores closed in San Francisco in the past 5 years. Walgreens is bolstering security measures in its remaining 50 plus city locations. A Securities and Exchange Commission filing before the pandemic, Walgreens announced plans to close about 200 stores across the US. Okay, shoplifting has become a heated issue, partly fueled by a viral video of a person brazenly putting items in a garbage bag and bicycling out of Walgreens past a security guard in June. So a lot of people, I don't know if you all saw that video. It went. That's basically what it was. It was this guy who had this giant trash bag and he was just filling it with stuff. Got on his bike and rode right past security and everyone. And I know a few people were criticizing that security guard, but from what I read, it's getting so bad, it's getting dangerous for them to intervene in these situations. Micro Center, great prices. No, I didn't. Saw it, horrible situation for America. Let's see. Okay, so now I'm going to, and again, a lot of the city is enabling this crime. Absolutely. And this is interesting. Hold on, let me see. So a guy that writes for the New York Times, he talked about moving to San Francisco, and he wasn't really aware of what was happening. Mail order your medicine. I mean, that's how we get a president. Wait, there was more of this story I wanted to read to you. See, this is pretty sad. This is kind of what breaks my heart. Where is this? There was a person that lives in this area, New York Times. Yeah, but this was actually something somewhat honest that was in the New York Times. So a supervisor at one of these Walgreens said that he was completely devastated by this latest closure, and he called the Mission Street store, so that's one of the stores that's closing down. He said it's a staple for seniors, family, and children for decades. The city needs to act with a sense of urgency to reduce and deter the number of incidents of commercial retail theft. And then some people will say, well, if you look at retail theft a few years ago, it really hasn't risen all that much. But what they don't understand is when things are so common, people stop reporting crimes as much. That was what was happening with a lot of the car theft that was happening in San Francisco as well. There were all these pictures that came out, and our San Francisco friend, Ken let us know about this if he's seen any of this. But people will put signs in their cars. Like, car theft is so rampant. You know, if your car is parked somewhere, they'll just break your windows, search for anything valuable in your car. It's become so rampant that people are stopping to report it, and they're putting signs in their car windows that say, hey, please don't break into my car, I have nothing valuable in here. And that's what the residents are having to do. And again, that's one more thing that goes into, they'll be like, well, look at the numbers, they're really not. And this is how they push some of these liberal policies, because they're not differentiating between like actual crime and reported crime. If it becomes so rampant, which was what was happening with a lot of the car thefts, people just stop reporting it after a while. I mean, if it happens to you every single day, you're probably eventually just gonna stop. Okay, here's oh, this is what the New York Times person. Okay, so the New York Times person moved. He moved to San Francisco. Wow, it's like they are in Detroit, police don't come. I mean, that eventually it starts to happen. So this writer for the New York Times moved to San Francisco without realizing how bad the crime was. And he describes 2 stops that he went. He went to, I believe it was a Walgreens, and he watched someone just walk in, grab a pile of beef jerky, some other snacks, and just walk right out really casually. So he sees this, and then he goes next door to a Safeway, which is a grocery store, and I believe Safeway grocery store. I'm in a different area now. We have different grocery stores. Hi, zombie. So he walks in and he sees a man just casually taking a few bottles of wine and some snacks, and he just walks out. So he sees both these things. Yes, a grocery store. So he sees both these things in a matter of minutes, his only 2 stops, and he goes up to somebody that works in Safeway, and this is what he says. He says, I'm new to San Francisco. Is it optional to pay for things here? And then he goes into, it sounds like an absurd thing to ask, but Fuller explains in a new article, this was the New York Times, that he was genuinely forced to wonder what was going on after he witnessed people walk into the Walgreens and Safeway, grab stuff, and walk out. He says the problem has only gotten worse in recent years, and now it's literally forcing businesses to close their doors. In 2014, a ballot referendum passed that downgraded theft of property less than $950 from a felony charge to a misdemeanor. It has become a part of the landscape. People say, oh, well, that just happened. These are obviously choosing locales based on what consequences are. There are no consequences for their actions. Then you invite that behavior over and over and over. It's the same with our homeless situation too in LA. Like I always use Venice Beach as a little area to talk about, but if you talk to a lot of the homeless, they'll let you know that they're actually not, a lot of them aren't even from California. And I'm using Venice Beach. I think the number is 70%, around 70% of the homeless in Venice Beach are not from Venice Beach. They're not even from California. They flock there, well, I'm sure because of the weather, but they also flock there because they know that they can just camp and do the drugs and everything else, and there will be no consequences, and they can just live that lifestyle. And people often say too, oh, it's just a housing issue. It's just a housing issue. Well, there's also addiction and mental illness, and you can't just give someone shelter and expect those other things to be fixed. It's almost like giving them money. What do you think they're going to spend the money? Malibu won't have it. Hello. Hi, Keith. How are you? Oh, yeah, and this is really interesting, too. Venice Beach has gone, it's still not great yet, but thanks to Alex Villanueva, it's gotten a little bit better. He was the sheriff that went in and started cracking down on the tent encampments on the boardwalk, and you could literally go, if you walk down the Venice boardwalk, right where it moves from Venice Beach to Santa Monica, right when it turns into Santa Monica, you see no tents. 0. And it's because they actually enforce those quality of life laws in Santa Monica, and they don't allow the same thing that they allow in Venice Beach. Okay, we're still on San Francisco. This is from The Hill. I specifically found articles that are not super right-leaning, because people always say, oh, this is fear-mongering. So that's why I chose. So this is the Hill. More than half of Bay Area residents plan to leave permanently. So this poll came out and basically says that 50%, 56% of residents in San Francisco area plan to leave sometime soon. The survey of voters in 5 Bay Area counties found that 56% of respondents say they would likely leave the region within the next few years, a higher percentage than any of the think tank's previous polling. A separate 44% said they were unlikely to leave, with 14% of these people saying they want to move out but could not. Florida is the new California. It sure is. Oh, really? Russell Hancock, president and CEO of joint venture Silicon Valley, told the San Francisco Chronicle that the issue comes down to the cost of housing. It's housing, stupid, that's driving almost all of the results we see in this poll. Among those who are likely to leave, 84% cited the cost of living as a major reason, 77% specifically cited high housing costs, and 62% cited the quality of life. Well, if you are paying, here, yes, housing is way too expensive in California, just in general, and that's for a lot of different reasons. But when you are also paying astronomical prices to live there, and you have zero quality of life, and your Walgreens is leaving, and your Target is closing at 6 p.m., and you can't even park your car, you have to put a sign in it so no one will break your window and try to steal things out of your car. Why are, like, it's crazy to pay that much and to have to live like that. And then there's poo and needles, and your tax dollars, instead of going to make things better, are going to the poop patrol. San Francisco has a poop patrol. There are people that specifically go out and pick up poop off the road. That is their job. So your tax dollars are paying for that because your politicians don't want to enforce quality of life things. 48% of respondents said that the region was headed in the right direction, while 52% said it was on the wrong track. Who are the 44%? 71% thought the quality of life was worse now than it was 5 years ago. That's a big number. My hubby was on Valencia Street 2 weeks ago and almost stepped in human feces. Yep. And you get really good at, like, let's go Brandon, Steven. Yeah, you get to the point where you can, like, differentiate between, like, human poop and dog poo. I have a funny story. I got, this is a perfect example of California. So before I came to hang out in Virginia for a little while, I had a little table with some friends, and we were collecting signatures to recall Gavin Newsom. That was when the petition was still out, before the recall actually kicked in. And we were collecting signatures. We were out in a public park, which is typically a park that homeless people sleep in. So there's usually a lot of homeless people in this park. And we got, because I was in West Hollywood, which is super liberal, they were really not happy that we were there. And me and one of my friends got a mask mandate citation. That was $300. And I tried to fight this, but the sheriffs that came out to give us this citation, first of all, they didn't even want to. They were forced to. We had a really long conversation with them. But anyway, after the officers, $300. After the officers were finished talking to us, they said goodbye, and it was a nice conversation, and they were leaving. And one of the female officers, you know how, like, when you're leaving, she backed up a few steps and was getting ready to turn around and leave. Well, this was California in a nutshell at the time. So sheriffs are there, $300 mask mandate citation. One of the sheriffs backs up to leave, and her partner very quickly stops her from backing up any further. She almost stepped in poop. I will say that I did not conduct an experiment. I do not know, and I didn't want to look at it too long. I did not know whether it was dog poo or human poo, but there's a 50-50 chance it could have been either one. So that's California in a nutshell. Okay. It's getting gross. Yeah, I would say so. I want to move on away from San Francisco. Okay, this will be pretty quick, but this Netflix, so we'll move on to Netflix, but allowing the poo is sickening. It's so gross. It really is. Pretty bad when they leave city workers. Yeah. Sarah, did you see the COLA for next year's? I did see that, Glenn. Sorry, I gotta go for now. We'll be back later. Okay, bye. Thank you for joining. Okay, let's this will be really quick. So the Dave Chappelle Netflix saga, it just keeps on going. I don't know why. Poop and armpit holes. This is a thank you very much, bud. Did you finally leave Cali? Been busy working. I'm a silly Republican who don't want to depend on the government handouts. Thank you so much, bud. I didn't leave for good. I'll probably be going back. I do have some ties still in California, so it's going to be hard for me to leave completely, but I will not be living where I was. I'll be closer to the beach, which people are a lot more laid back in that area, and they're not so wacky. When I was a kid growing up on the East Coast, I used to think that California was paradise on earth. Haha, geez, it's poop land now. It is funny, like sometimes when I'm out shopping, like, and I'm talking to people and they know that I've lived or am from California, especially younger people, they still think that, and I don't want to kill their dreams. I want to be like, well, child, let me tell you how it really is. Okay, so this Dave Chappelle thing, this will be quick. I just thought it was really funny. So sadly, you're correct. You can tell human poo from dog. Yeah. Yes, kill their dreams. I am the dream killer. Tell me your dreams. I will kill them. Need to go to Murrieta? Where's Murrieta? Eugene, Oregon. I've never been to Oregon. Okay. So, did you all watch the Dave Chappelle special on Netflix? I did watch it. I thought it was really funny. Dave Chappelle is someone that he makes fun of everyone. I'm in LA. I'm LA. Oh, you are? Yeah, I'll be back. Dave Chappelle is the OG. So he made a lot of people upset with certain jokes that he said in this special. And here's the thing. He really does. He makes fun of everyone equally. I've seen him live before. He just does. Bye. Are you leaving? Don't leave. Anyway, some people got really mad. Some of the employees, 80 miles northeast of San Diego, huge conservative area. A lot of California is conservative. When you go outside of the cities, and I think San Diego is pretty conservative as well. And that's where Pendleton is right around. So there's a lot of military right around San Diego. So a lot of employees in a certain community were very upset about this special because of jokes that he made, which is odd to me. Why weren't they upset that he was making fun of everyone? Why is one group superior to the other when it comes to jokes? I don't know. But thankfully, the Netflix, thank you very much. Yes, please hit the like before you go, so that helps the algorithm. Palm Springs is conservative. I like that about Palm Springs. Haven't been there yet. So some employees were mad. They got suspended, I think, because they tried to storm a meeting protesting this Dave Chappelle special. They wanted it taken down, but you cannot cancel Dave Chappelle. He is uncancelable. And the CEO of Netflix actually defended Dave Chappelle and said they wanted their comedians to have creative freedom. Well, yes, Daybreak said Netflix actually took a stand and backed him. Yes, they did. And well, now there was an email that was leaked, and I thought it was really, and this was from the CEO, so this is a new little update. I thought it was really interesting what the CEO said. So this was just, I'm just going to read you a few lines from the email. So he says, while some employees disagree, we have a strong belief that content on screen doesn't directly translate to real life harm. The strongest evidence to support this is that violence on screens has grown hugely over the last 30 years, especially with first party pow pow games, like video games. And yet, violent crime has fallen significantly in many countries. Adults can watch violence, assault, and abuse and enjoy shocking stand up comedy without it causing them harm to others. And he pointed out something really interesting. Without realizing it, it's funny that people have an issue with the joke, but they don't have an issue with a lot of violence that's in a lot of this content that's on the platform. So I just think that's really interesting. They will have an issue with the joke, but not actual gory violence that's portrayed in a lot of films, especially some like horror movies. This part is pretty funny now too. Employees are now planning a virtual walkout in protest and in response to continued tensions. I don't know how you do a virtual walkout. That's the laziest protest I've ever heard of. Click protest. Okay, let's talk about Loudoun County, and then I'll do Walmart last, because that's a lot to go through. Virtual walkout. Yep, click. I walked out. Protest. Okay, Loudoun County update. I haven't read this yet, so we're going to read through it together. It's hard for them because they live on the internet. Exactly. The Sims. South Korea is their future entertainment. But these, I guarantee you, these are the same type of people that consume like a lot of these like violent video games, or they consume. Hi, Kelly. How are you? We are getting into a new story, so you're just in time. We were talking about San Francisco. Hi, Kelly. But these are the same people that probably consume a lot of this content, and then they get offended by a joke. And if you watch the Dave Chappelle special, it was actually a really beautiful, I'm going to cry. Why am I so emotional lately? It was actually, Loudoun County is next door. Oh, we have several people from that area. Perfect. The ending of that special was actually a really beautiful story about his friend. And I don't know if you know this, but do you guys, you remember that story he was telling about his friend that unalived themselves? And well, the family of that friend that he was talking about actually came out and supported Dave Chappelle and supported the jokes. And Dave Chappelle was even making the point in that video that his friend liked comedy and liked, having laughs and stuff like that. I'm not preggers. I'm always like this kind of. But the family of the friend that he was discussing came out in support of Dave Chappelle, and I thought that was really cool. So that just goes to show you that this is just so silly, the fact that these people are taking so much offense. If anyone, I would say, even though I wouldn't necessarily agree, if I could have seen anyone being offended by anything, I would think it was his friend's family, and they weren't. They completely supported Dave Chappelle, and that was the point that he was making. And in one of his earlier specials, he said, if I make fun of you, that means I don't know if you remember, I think this was in Sticks and Stones, and he said, if I make fun of you, that's because I see myself in you, and it's kind of out of love, if that makes sense. Because you really don't make fun of, if you really do think that you're superior than someone, and you're a comedian like Dave Chappelle, you typically don't go after them, or it doesn't come across the same way. Then you would be SNL. That's what you would be. You would be SNL if you, that's the kind of cringy comedy it would be. Okay, let's look at, we have a few people that live around Loudoun County. Chappelle is now untouchable. His statement now, cancel me more. Yes, Dave Chappelle actually just sold out the Hollywood Bowl. So clearly, and this is one of their most viewed, these are their most viewed, not, I don't know if it's the most viewed, but these are some of their most viewed comedy specials. And if you looked at it, it was really funny because if you looked at Rotten Tomatoes, they do like the audience rating and then like the critic rating. And the audience rating was in the high 90s, and the critic, that's when you know that that the audience doesn't agree. The same if you saw the Fauci Rotten Tomatoes rating, Netflix winning. Everyone is pushing back on cancel culture. Yes, especially when it comes to comedy and entertainment and stuff. Okay, so Loudoun County, if you saw the video yesterday or if you've been keeping up with this story, there was a viral photo and just like a viral situation that happened a few months ago in Loudoun County. So Loudoun County is kind of the poster child for the angry parents storming school board meetings. And it's been because of their proposed bathroom policies and CRT in the schools and stuff like that. So cancel the cancel culture. That's one canceling I can get down with. And then something that happened that just went everywhere was a father was arrested, and he was sort of just like Loudoun County is the poster child for these angry parents. This father became the poster child for the angry parents as well. And come to find, there was an investigative journalist with the Daily Wire who found out there was a lot more to that story. So this guy's daughter was attacked in the worst way that you can attack a woman, in the bathroom. His daughter was a ninth grader and was attacked by an individual who was a biological man who had a skirt on, who entered the girl's bathroom. The school apparently maybe tried to cover this up, and they called the father to come to school. The father arrives at the school. They said, your daughter has been in a physical altercation. And then he found out this in fact was not just a physical altercation. This was much worse. The school also told the father that they would be handling this internally, and the father got really upset. So the school, when he was at the school, called the police. But they didn't call the police to report this crime. They called the police to report the father, who was really upset. Clearly he was upset. So that happened at school, and then he attended the school board meeting where they were proposing this new bathroom policy where you could use the bathroom depending on your identity and not your biological sex. So before he could even get up and talk, that's when people were telling him that he was lying about his daughter, and that's when one thing led to another. It escalated. He got arrested, and that's what the Daily Wire reported on a few days ago. Since this happened, there were several updates. One, the local sheriff's department confirmed that everything that the father was saying was true. They did report it to the sheriff's department. They took her. She got the R kit done, so there's proof of this. And the individual who perpetrated on the girl, instead of being suspended and not allowed to go back to school, this person was transferred to another school, and a few months later attacked another young girl. So these are now two people and the father believes that they tried to hide the story. And well, they did, because they actually said in the school board meetings when they were trying to propose this new bathroom policy, they said they have never had any issues with attacks or anything of that nature, which clearly now we know is absolutely not true. Okay, so, and they can't release the name of the perpetrator and the victim because they're minors, but we'll read this together because I just saw this right before I turned the camera on. So it says, Loudoun County update, family of alleged R victim to sue the school district. So the family of the girl who was allegedly R'd in her school bathroom is pursuing civil action against Loudoun County Public Schools under the provisions of, is that Title IX? I can't read the Roman numerals. I think it's Title IX. I think it's Title IX. Reading is hard. I didn't do very well in school. After the release of the Daily Wire's blockbuster report alleging that Loudoun County Public Schools covered up the attack. Yes, Title IX. Thank you. As the Daily Wire exclusively reported, the victim's father, Scott Smith, said the boy allegedly wearing a skirt went into a girl's bathroom at a local high school where he then attacked her in the bathroom. Title IX. Yeah, that was the Roman numeral I saw. You had the correct thing. Juvenile records are sealed, but Smith's attorney, Elizabeth Lancaster, told the Daily Wire that the boy was charged with 2 counts of forcible. 1 count. Oh, gosh. I can't. YouTube is very sensitive with certain words. It's forcible from behind. That's how awful this is. And 1 count of forcible fellatio. I'm not laughing at this story. I can't. It's hard for me to say these words. Okay, so I'm not by any means laughing at this story. I am an awkward human being. In a press release distributed on Thursday, the parents of the young girl stated, I won't get into, they're just really sensitive about certain things. Like, they will find like 1 word, and if I monetize something, like they'll demonetize it. And I'm extra careful because I'm just a smaller creator and I'm still learning what I can and can't say. Yeah, the exit only area. I'm also a very awkward person, so if I say certain things, I will turn into a tomato. Subsequent to the assault on our daughter, Loudoun County Public Schools formalized the policy regarding restroom use that was easily exploitable by a potential assailant. Because of poor planning and misguided policies, Loudoun schools failed to institute even minimal safeguards to protect students from these assaults. Smith was arrested after attending the school board meeting where the topic of the policy was raised. At the meeting, the superintendent said that concerns about the policy were misplaced since the school system had no record of any assault occurring in any bathroom. So that was clearly not true. Smith has said he was then confronted by left-wing community activists. Does this remind us of anything we saw? Smith said he was then confronted by a left-wing community activist who told him she didn't believe his daughter. Because we don't believe all women anymore. We only believe all women when it is convenient to our narrative. That's what we have with every single situation. With the Time's Up movement and Governor Cuomo, with We Spa, and now this. If you know anything that I'm leaving out, I can't believe that woman said that to him. Absolutely. And the story is infuriating. Yeah. A police officer pulled on his arm. Let me just reread that for you so it makes more sense. Smith said that he was confronted by a left-wing community activist who told him she didn't believe his daughter. A police officer pulled on his arm and Smith yanked it away, which led to an altercation. Before he knew it, Smith says he was hit in the face, handcuffed, and dragged across the floor with his pants pulled down. Images of the incident were splashed on television and newspapers across the world. Bill Stanley of the Stanley Law Group, which is representing the family, stated, I'm taking a sip of coffee before I read that. The conduct of Loudoun County schools and the Loudoun County School Board directly resulted in the brutal attack of Smith's daughter at Stonebridge High. It only takes an instant to see how Loudoun County Schools has adversely affected this family and have harmed their daughter. To date, no one with Loudoun County Public Schools or the school board has been held accountable for the wrong done to the Smith family. Our firm intends to rectify that. We will fight the wrongful and unconstitutional criminal charges against Mr. Smith in circuit court. We will protect the interests of their daughter at every turn of the legal process. And we will pursue federal Title IX actions against the local government and all officials who are responsible for allowing this harm to come to his daughter. Following the alleged attack of the victim, the same male student who allegedly attacked Smith's daughter was transferred to a different school where he allegedly assaulted another victim. As Smith said in the press release, the assault of our daughter and the subsequent assault by the same individual were both predictable and both preventable. They added, the facts are that a male student claiming to be gender fluid was permitted to enter the girls' bathroom on May 28 and assault our daughter. Making matters worse, the school system repeatedly failed to protect her thereafter. It's almost like being re-victimized after that, like especially having your father arrested for trying to protect you, having his face smeared all over, and him being called a domestic terrorist by not only the school board, not only media outlets, politicians, the people that are supposed to protect you. And again, it was like just a few years ago, it was believe all women. Me too. Then they concealed the attack from the public while considering formalizing a bathroom access policy that would have, and now has, increased the likelihood of assaults like these. As a result, our daughter and our family have suffered and continue to suffer from the very real consequence of a policy that endangers the safety of every student. As the Daily Wire reported, so this is a statement. Okay, so this is a statement by the school district, the Loudoun County Public School. In a full statement on Wednesday, LCPS acknowledged the incident, but again maintained that the matter was reported to authorities and that the school was prohibited from any further investigation until the criminal probe had concluded. LCPS also appeared to defend transferring the alleged attacker to a different school in the district, noting that it had to follow Title IX procedures for a student accused. I want to look at Title IX really fast. Thank you so much, Kelly. Thank you. That's very sweet. I want to look up Title IX and see exactly what it says. Title IX schools. See, and this is where everything just contradicts each other. Like all these rights are just like, so the Title IX schools to adopt and publish grievance procedures for students to file complaints of sex discrimination, including complaints of harassment or violence. The schools can use general disciplinary procedures to complaints of sex discrimination. So, were they... Do you guys know where my brain is at right now? What does it mean to be a Title IX school? Serves as a powerful tool for combating campus violence. The law requires colleges receiving federal funding to combat gender-based violence and harassment and respond to survivors' need in order to ensure that all students have equal access to education. In your head. Yeah, I'm in my head. How are they protecting? What I don't understand is why he wasn't suspended and why he was transferred to another school. When I was in school, the loophole is the person claims to be, that's where my head was going. But that's also where it contradicts each other. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it was the girl who was attacked, but because it just all contradicts each other. I don't know if you all remember this, but when I was in school, it was when like the big topic of conversation was bullying. Everyone was like he should have been expelled. That's the word I'm looking for. I kept saying suspended, expelled. I don't understand. Gotta go, ready for the Giants-Dodgers game. Okay. It was beautiful and sad about his friend. Someone was talking about Dave Chappelle. So when I was in school, it was zero tolerance. That was the thing, zero tolerance of bullying. And I remember in high school, it was actually kind of creepy, but there was this boy who would he would like go around kind of harassing a lot of girls. He would make threats, say really strange, just sexual things, and it was really creepy. And it was to the point where he was really consistent about it, and and he was making threats of violence as well. So me and a few girls that he was targeting, we kind of all got together and we wrote out our statements of what happened. And keep in mind, he never actually physically did anything to anyone, but it was the threats of violence. So we went, and this individual got expelled. And he never actually did anything. He just made threats, and he was expelled almost immediately. And it breaks my heart that someone can get physically attacked and the person is just transferred, and then you are gaslit because you just want to have a safe environment. Dang, just leaving work, about to drive home. Hi, Masta. Thank you for joining. It's how the world has changed, and it's a conflict, a total conflict. I have something for a mind break when you are about to finish. Oh boy. Okay, I'll let you know before I finish, and then I'll look for your comment. That is just, I'm going to see if there's any more updates about that. I think that's it. Yeah, that's about it. So I'm really curious to see what happens with this lawsuit. This is sticky, and someone earlier was saying that he or she, I'm sorry, I don't mean to assume your gender. I can't remember, I forgot what the name was when I was looking at it. I bet I missed everything. I was filling out a job app, but good evening to all. Hello. Well, I'm getting started on a new story in just a second, so you're kind of just in time for a new story. I want to see, but somebody was saying earlier that he lives close, or she, and actually called elected officials to complain about what was going on. Oh, but this is one more thing to add to this story. So not only does it appear, allegedly, not only does it appear that the school tried to cover up this incident, but there was another incident that happened in a locker room in 2018 at another school within a district, and it was a bunch of boys attacking another boy. So it happened in the boys' locker room, but this is something that happened in a locker room that I personally, I don't know what the solution is, but I think I said this in my video. I remember at my high school, there was the boys' bathroom, the girls, and then there were a lot of individual bathrooms where the door locked. Or you could go and use the teacher's bathroom or the teacher's lounge. So there were bathrooms that were on their own that were locked, and I actually preferred to use those a lot because they locked and they were more private. So I don't know if that's the answer. For instance, in Georgia, yes, in Georgia. For instance, I don't judge, but I said this in my video too, and I was at Target the other day and I used the bathroom, and they had a men's bathroom, a women's, and then they had a family bathroom. That was basically just like a solo area where you could go in. I don't know what the answer is. But it just seems to be there is a lot of conflicting stuff and a lot of loopholes. And, you know, if there are certain individuals that want to take advantage of certain things, they absolutely will. And I also know what it's like to, I mean, I feel for anyone that is uncomfortable with their body, but it's also really uncomfortable to grow up being a teenage girl. And it's a very, very, very vulnerable time and embarrassing time. Anywho. Okay, we'll talk about Walmart really quick. So, big warning, security should monitor bathrooms doing patrols. Yeah, I mean, that's a good idea too. Or maybe teachers should be around the area. I don't know. I actually, I worked at a residential facility a long time ago for teenagers, and I worked with teenage girls. And they actually, because we had like very sensitive situations, girls that suffered from a lot of different things, we had like basically like a bathroom that had 4 stalls in it, and then it had 4 showers. And if there were more than 2 girls in there at the same time, we had to have a staff member to supervise. And that sounds a little much for a school, but because we had such sensitive cases and a lot of things going on, anytime there was more than one person in the bathroom, we had to monitor, and not like in the stalls, but we would sit in the main area and they would be like in the stalls with everything closed. I draw the line, yeah, I do too. And it was the same thing that happened with the Wee Spa. So the father, Sam Smith, the father involved in all this, the girl's father, he even said, he was like, I've never been to a school board meeting. I don't keep up with what's happening at the school board meetings. This just happened to my little daughter, and I wanted to say something because they were talking about passing this policy at this particular school meeting. And what they said also on Tucker Carlson is, if they just would have let this father talk for 30 seconds, they would have understood why he was there and why he was upset. Okay, I just want to read through this Walmart thing. So Walmart is yet another company, and Chris Rufo, he's one of the big guys like fighting CRT in schools and within corporations. And so he just scooped this earlier today, and it's really not a surprise. But I just thought, like, this is pretty egregious what's happening here. So he says, Walmart has launched a critical race theory training program that denounces the United States as a white supremacy system, and that teaches white hourly wage workers that they are guilty of white supremacy thinking, internalized racial superiority. Buckle up, he says. I really started to like Walmart. Darn it. And this, I like this because this is an example of how a lot of people will say it's just anti-white. In my opinion, the CRT stuff, it's anti-human, because listen to what they say if you are a minority. So he goes on to say, Walmart launched the program with the Racial Equity Institute in 2018 and has trained more than 1,000 employees on the core principles of CRT, including intersectionality, internalized racial oppression, and white anti-racist development. The program begins with the claim that the United States is a white supremacy system. Why is a corporation talking about that with employees? That doesn't stay in your lane. Okay, let me reread that again because you need to hear hi from Australia. The program begins with the claim that the United States is a white supremacy system designed by white Europeans for maintaining white skin access to power and privilege. Whites are thus subjected to racist conditioning that indoctrinates them into white supreme sandwiches. The Walmart program claims that whites are inherently guilty of the privilege and internalized superiority, or the belief that one's comfort, wealth, privilege, and success has been earned by merits and hard work rather than through the benefits of systemic racism. Walmart argues that white culture can be summarized in a list of qualities, including objectivity, paternalism, defensiveness, power hoarding, right to comfort, and worship of the written word, which are damaging to minorities. Walmart tells, now this is almost even worse. Walmart tells minority employees that they suffer from constructed racist oppression, and internalized inferiority, with the internal messages such as, we believe there is something wrong with being a person of color. We have a sense of limited possibility. Furthermore, Walmart tells minorities that they are programmed to believe the myths promoted by the system and develop feelings of self-hate, anger, rage, and ethnocentrism, and are forced to forget, lie, and stop feeling in order to secure basic survival. These people are nuts. The solution, according to Walmart, they have a solution. Good news, people. Because if anyone knows, it's Walmart. The solution is to encourage... I feel like I'm not drinking, but I almost feel like I need to drink right now. The solution, according to Walmart, is to encourage whites to participate in white anti-racist development, accept their guilt and shame, adopt the idea that white is not right, acknowledge their racism, and move toward a collective action whereby white can do right. The Walmart program is a study in hypocrisy. Oh. So this is what Chris Rufo says in response to all this. I could use a drink too. Cheers to that. All I have is my old iced coffee. That's probably going to keep me up all night. But I'm still going to drink it. You know what they did at Starbucks today? I know some of you don't like Starbucks. I went to Starbucks today, and there was a lot of people in Starbucks. There was probably like 10 of us sitting there. I go there because the internet is a lot quicker than it is in my little cabin here. So I'm doing work, and one of the you know those little snack boxes that they have? There's like cheese and crackers and like vegetables that they have in the little snack section. He was walking around with 2 options and gave everyone a free snack box. Wasn't that so nice? So I got a free snack box, me and everyone that was sitting in Starbucks today. I have no idea why they did that. Okay, so this is what don't understand, never been in a Starbucks. Well, when you are where I am, you don't have a whole lot of options. I've never been in a What? You guys have never been in a Starbucks? I thought that was sweet. There's not a lot of options in the area, so Starbucks is where I go, and a lot of places have really terrible internet around here. So Starbucks is the one place that I can go to, and I always tip them too because the employees are actually really nice and they all know who I am. But it's the one place that I can go to and sit, and they have fast internet. Because even the places that say they have fast internet, they do not have fast internet. Okay, so this is what Chris, come on, go another 10 miles away from Richmond, out in the country. That's where I am. That's why I don't have a lot of internet options here. I'll go to some places and my data on my phone won't even work. Farther out. Downtown Richmond is a very, very, very liberal. Very liberal. I feel uncomfortable sometimes. I'm like, has anyone seen any of my videos? Am I going to get attacked? You know what's interesting? What I've noticed, the more liberal the area that you're in, the more angry everyone around you seems. Are you still in Virginia? I am still in Virginia. I'm going to stay because it's already almost the holidays, so I'm going to stay through the holidays, I think. Because there's no point in going. I'm just going to be coming right back. It sucks when Olivier shows red on the votes. California kind of similar. A lot of California is quite red. Don't wear anything patriotic when you go to Richmond. I know. I'm like, they all know. Will you ever go back to California? Yes, I think I'm going to go back after the holidays. But I probably won't be, I won't be there forever. I'll probably be there maybe for a few more years tops. We'll see. Liberals have so much. No, it really is true. And I'm not just saying that to dunk on people, but it's absolutely true. I've noticed that in West Hollywood. I've noticed that in like here, like, because I'm kind of out in the country, which is more conservative. But when I go to like downtown Richmond, especially around VCU, which is crazy because VCU is a college area. It's a university. You would think everyone is like fun and happy, but everyone just feels angry and stressed. Okay, so I'll finish up the Walmart stuff. So now this is basically what Chris is adding on to that. So Chris says, the Walmart program is a study in hypocrisy. White male CEO Doug McMillon rakes in $22 million a year. Tax the rich. while lecturing his, oh, yes. Oh, I love Chris Rufo. Okay, so the CEO who's implementing this stuff rakes in $22 million a year while lecturing his hourly wage employees on their internalized superiority and internalized inferiority. So if you are one race, you are internally superior. There is nothing you can do about it, even if you live in a trailer. If you are another race, you are internally inferior, and there's nothing you can do about that either. You just have to accept that soul-crushing information. The formula of woke capital is clear. American executives, the most privileged people on the planet, can collect accolades and social status by pledging allegiance to the DEI and telling workers they're racist oppressors. Read the full story in City Journal. So it's in City Journal. P.S. He says, I'm working on a 10-part series to expose CRT and America's Fortune 100 companies. Okay, so that's awesome. Chris Rufo. How I was just talking about this in a different video. It's typically the companies that push this stuff the most are the ones that have the most skeletons in their closet. And it's interesting that Chris pointed out that, you know, this CEO is pushing 22 million lecturing broke minority employees. Exactly. Thank you. There was it's funny that this is being exposed the same week. There was a video that went viral of a Walmart employee who quit on, you know, those little intercom phones that they have where they're like, clean up on aisle 4 or whatever. So she quit on the intercom talking about how terrible the working conditions were for Walmart employees and how they are overworked and underpaid. And Kelly saw it, talking about how it's actually very interesting that this came out the same week as that viral video, because that just goes to show it was very funny. She was throwing some F-bombs too. But this employee was talking about how the employees of Walmart are mistreated, they're overworked, they're underpaid, and they're not treated with respect. So that's the environment that these employees are working in. And then I don't know who exactly is being required to take these training programs, but why is your place of employment, why do they have any business talking to you about how America is inherently this or that? Like, that just seems completely, the last time I had a normal job and did a diversity training, it was just like, accept everybody. Yay, we're all happy. That was it. I don't see anything wrong with that. And that was the box you had to check. Now it's just getting weird. If it wasn't for my mom and surfing, I would have bailed SoCal a year ago. Yeah, and it really, I will say that even in Los Angeles County, if you go around some of the beach towns, not all of them, but it really is a lot more laid back in the beach towns. Even during the lockdown, like when I was in West Hollywood, because I spent my time back and forth from West Hollywood to the beach. I would spend half my week at the beach and half my week in West Hollywood. There was a totally different vibe between West Hollywood and the beach. West Hollywood, like I was just describing, downtown Richmond was just, it was really uncomfortable. Everyone was just scared. They were nervous. It was just an awful, like, it just felt like everyone was tense. Like there was a feeling. You could just walk outside in the fresh air and cut the tenseness with a knife. That's how it felt. Yet at the beach, everyone was open, more laid back. Like if someone saw you without a mask on, you would get cussed out in West Hollywood. But at the beach, it was just a lot more laid back, which I appreciate. And there's still a lot of liberals. It's LA County, but there's a lot more conservatives that live around the beach, and a lot more families, I think. I think anywhere where you have a lot of families living, they have more conservative beliefs. That's what I meant to say. But interesting, we're talking about West Hollywood. So I have a TikTok where I basically say, like, if you see some of my shorter videos, they probably came from my TikTok, and I basically talk about the same type of stuff that I talk about on here. It's just much shorter. By the way, if you see a lot of short videos from me, it's because YouTube is trying to encourage creators to make these shorts. So that's what they are. I'm not being lazy, but they want creators to make more shorts. So I promise I'm not lazy. That's what it is. And sometimes that helps because they get a lot of views. So sometimes that helps bring people to your content, those shorts. What was I saying? Short and sweet, just like you, Sarah. Thank you. Yes, I am very short. Oh, so on my TikTok, I had someone that was commenting on several of my videos and leaving really nasty comments. And I usually, when someone does that, if it's just one, I just remove it. No big deal. It's cool. I really enjoy it. Okay, cool. I'm glad you like them. They want to be exactly, because people spend more time on TikTok, and that's why I'm on there, because the reach on TikTok is incredible. Sorry, that was gross. Within a few months, I grew up to almost 50,000. So there's a really big reach on TikTok, and people spend a lot more time, I think, on TikTok now. I'm embarrassed. And YouTube is trying, so is Instagram. They have Reels now. So everyone's trying to encourage you to make this content because that's what people are watching. Oh, but somebody, so if it's just one nasty, they have short attention span. Yes. Were the nasty comments political? No, they were angry about my content. Like an angry liberal was just saying nasty things to me. It wasn't even like, if someone's critical of my content or they bring up a good point, like that's totally cool. But if someone's just being nasty or insulting, just to be nasty or insulting, I just get rid of it. But I noticed that the same person went through a few videos and was leaving nasty comments. So just out of curiosity, or no, I went to their profile to block them. So in that case, I will just block them because that's kind of creepy if you're going through and watching several videos if you hate me that much. But then I realized that, oh my gosh, I know this person. It was someone that I knew from West Hollywood so I ended up blocking the person, but people are just crazy. And this person, like, I know we used to work together, like we would get in trouble together and laugh together. And just because of the content that I was making, this person just left nasty, nasty, nasty. There is some cool content on TikTok. It's not all like cringy teenage girls dancing. Wow, Sarah is even more weird. No, it is weird because I knew this person. That's happened several times. Like people get really crazy when if they don't like your beliefs. You would be very, very surprised. And it creeped me out. So anyway, I blocked him and just moved on. Okay, Hammerstein, what were you gonna say? Because I'm almost done. Never been on TikTok. I like there's actually there's some artists that are on there that make cool content. I really like. Yeah, what were you gonna say? Because I'm gonna get off in just a minute. I really like the ghost stories on TikTok. Oh, because comedy was in the discussion. Have you say it again? I'm sorry. I am very fortunate. All my friends stayed friends, even though some are very liberal. And some of my friends, they actually, because comedy was in the discussion, have you seen the new Robin skit by Jamie Costa? No, I haven't. Robin Williams? Okay, I'll look that up. Hi, Special K. You can rewatch it. I'm sorry. I haven't. Another comedian that I really like, what in the heck is his name? I don't remember, but he does political sketches. They're very funny. Have you heard of the vegan teacher from there? Special K just got home. Well, thank you for joining. What is this guy's name? I forget. Hold on, I'm trying to look this person up. Oh, I can see myself on my computer. The heck is his name? If you guys want a really funny person, let's see. Because I can't find him. How many friends did you lose by turning conservative? Oh, Ryan Long. Ryan Long, Ryan Long. Look him up on YouTube. He has really funny sketches. Yes, Ryan Long. That's him. I really like him. How many friends did I lose? Oh yeah, Steven Crowder has a really good show. I find him funny. Oh, also, he's not necessarily a comedian, but I enjoy the show if you want a good laugh. Slightly Offensive with Elijah Schaefer. That show makes me laugh. They make fun of a lot of liberals. They make fun of a lot of liberal TikToks, which I kind of want to. Looks like YouTube is trying to sink Crowder's channel for good. Yeah, I did see that. He recently got banned for a week, I think. And he was talking Hodge twins. Yes, they're really funny too. I like the Hodge twins. And Crowder, it was actually an episode where he was talking about Loudoun County, and I think they did a skit. And I didn't watch this episode, but that was the episode that got them in trouble. Crowder's rage squeak voice drives me up the wall. I like his like, not Man on the Street, but yeah, Man on the Street style stuff. You know what I miss from Crowder? I haven't seen these in a while. It's probably because he's a father now and he had all those surgeries, but I miss my favorite things to watch from Crowder were his Change My Minds. I actually thought, some people think he was too mean. I didn't think so. I thought he did a really good job debating with people and talking about things, and I actually miss that. I hope he brings that back soon. But I now that I think about it, I understand probably why he's not doing that right now. I only watch Zeducation to see what's happening on TikTok. Zeducation, I don't know what that is. Mark Dice. Yes, Mark Dice is really good. Sarah Telejob. Thank you, Kelly. Okay, thank you very much, Kelly. That was really sweet. Okay, so I'm going to tell a joke. I might have told you this one before because it's my go-to joke. Okay. This is my go-to joke. Now I feel like you've heard this before. Okay. So, what did the cat say to the other cat when the first cat saw that the second cat was upset? Guess. Okay, nobody guessed. He said, "I'm sorry. Oh shoot." Oh, Kelly, guess. Wait. He said, "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt your felines. I was just kidding." Chris, you're the joke. How did you like my joke? Ooh, I have one more joke for you. I have another joke. You're going to like this one. Also, I've probably told you this joke before because I have two jokes. That was not a groaner. That was a good joke. Okay, I have one more. See? Everybody liked it. It was a hit. No tomatoes thrown over here. Okay, here's my other joke. Did you do these when you did stand-up? No, I would have gotten beat up, I think, if I did that. Actually, I think people probably would have laughed at that. Because sometimes the worse the joke, the fun. Okay, here's another one. What happens when you play a country album backwards? Guess. Okay, nobody guess. You get your wife back. You get your house back. You get your kids back. You get your dog back. But you get happy, yeah. You get everything back. You get your wife back. I got it. I think I told you guys that before. Or have you heard it somewhere else? It is a good one. I've been watching Norm Macdonald jokes. I love Norm Macdonald. I met him before in West Hollywood. He actually, Norm Macdonald, I had a group of friends that were really good friends with comedians. So I never got to hang out with the comedians, but we had mutual friends. So David Spade was one of them. Kevin Farley, Chris Farley's brother, who, by the way, they look very similar. And they were really good friends with Norm McDonald. And while Norm is very nice. Like I interacted with him for 5 seconds, but what you see on TV, I never met Spade. What you see on TV is what you get with Norm McDonald, but I used to be a cocktail waitress at this little bar in West Hollywood, and they would all come. There was a cigar lounge, so a lot of guys would come in and watch or like hang out in the cigar lounge, and it was a sports bar, so we got a lot of people. It was right off the Sunset Strip, so a lot of people that lived in the hills and stuff would come in and watch sports. And no, you told it once before, Sarah. I see, he knew. New fave joke. Perfect. But anyway, Norm came in one day and was hanging out with some of my friends. I was working, so I didn't talk to them. But he was nice. Do you make your Kleenex, how do you make your Kleenex dance? Special K says, how do you make your Kleenex dance? I know that one. You put a little boogie in it. But anyway, he just came in. He was like just asking where his friends were and stuff, and he just seemed really nice. And he was there for a while. He took pictures with some of the staff, but I'm the person, like, I will not ask someone to take a picture. I don't know. Hammerstead. All right, I think that's everything I have for right now. Thank you so much, you guys, for hanging out. That was a lot of fun. I don't have any more jokes right now, but I think I will find some more. Today's woke crowd wouldn't know what to do with George Carlin. Yeah, no, they would not. Thank you, Glenn. It was fun. Lance, new favorite joke. I can't get anyone but my autobiography. It's the story of, wait. I can't get anyone to buy my autobiography. It's the story of my life. Thank you for the donation, Lance. Okay, good night, Kelly. Thank you very much. We had a lot of fun. Thank you. I had fun too. That was a good one. I think good comics are always authentic seeming. Absolutely. A policeman stopped an old lady for pull over. No, it's a scarf. I didn't read that one. Smash the like unless you, oh, thank you guys. Yes, please hit the like button if you haven't. It helps my algorithm. All right, thank you. That was so much fun, everyone. See ya, Special K. Thanks for joining. Yay, someone else hit the like. Later, have a good night. Good night, everyone. Good night, you guys. Bye. Good night, Sarah. Good night, Daybreak, John, or Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor is another great. Okay, thank you for the few that just hit the like button, and I will see you all later. Bye.